The Time Machine, H.G. Wells. Chapter 9 to 15. Hi everyone, I'm your storyteller today. My name is Jessica Alejandra. I'm from Colombia. Social communication and journalism student, 23 years old, and I want to invite you to put yourself comfortable and pay attention to the story. Chapter 9. Underground. The time traveler were having a few desperate days in the Lois community and in the company of Wina. He didn't fall asleep quiet. Again, he felt as he wanted to escape of a responsibility. To call himself about your worries, every day he walked around the country further and further. A day, almost the end of his daily walk, he found a stranger built a green towers, the Green Palace, and felt the call to explore that place. At the next day, early at the morning, the Voyager and Mina were outside the Green Palace. She enjoying and dancing beside him while he were looking into the wheel. The traveler faced a deepened darkness, cold, hunger, weakness, irrationality, and one of his greatest fears, the Morlocks, and the difficult idea that he couldn't return home. After a horrible night, beyond any expectation, with his last strength, he managed to get out of the wheel, to reconnect with the Lloyd companies and the comfortable caresses of little Wina. Chapter 10. A Place to Live. After the disappointment with his escape attempt, the time traveler decided to think deeper. Beyond fear, he could defend himself and Wina on his own. Just needed to find a safe place, pull some weapons, and make a fire to keep the Morlock far of him and Wina. His survival instinct led him to walk at the desert and mountains, looking for a safe place. Without many options, pointing to Green Palace, tired and sore, he heads into a night of stars and reflections. With Wina's company, when her beauty and tenderness comfort his heart and enlivens his spirit. When the morning came, beautiful and calm, they continued on their way towards the goal, imagining with illusion that they could return home. Chapter 11. The Green Palace. Looking for a safe place, they were at the Green Palace. They found there only ruins and old objects. Some of them could help us to defend at night against the Morlocks. Chapter 12. The adventure in the future continued. Wina and the traveler were walking all the day looking for solutions. At the end of the sunset, they had not finished collecting the firewood for the night, and they were in the middle of the forest. far from the hill where they had found peace the night before. After another fight with the Morlocks with a steel bar, he made a fire to keep away the Morlocks. However, after a while, sleep won him over, and in the middle of the dark and cold, he was surprised by the horrible hands and bites of the Morlocks, reliving the nightmare. He fought again with his steel bar and recovered him space, tried to find him match to strike one, but apparently were lost, like Wina, who were beside him. Just in the moment that he thought were at board of the end, a miracle happened. Suddenly, a red light shone at meters. The Morlocks were running in madness against themselves. Despair and madness, they were dying. The traveler were running to protect himself to the ring fire that burned the wood, and with him the majority of that weird race, the Morlocks. Chapter 13. A fight for the machine. The sun shone again. The nightmare seemed finished, too much sense, and Wina is nowhere. What sad, what lonely. The last possible work continued to look for the time machine. After the reflection about humanity, the past, the future, the intelligence, the Morlocks, Wina, the alloys, the time traveler rest at the grass almost all the day. Before the sunset, he found the time machine. What quiet, what happiness! With the levers in the pockets, had to face the nightmare of Morlocks again. To finish triumphant, he repaired to the time machine after the battle. Chapter 14. The Death of the World. When we thought that everything were finished, no, the adventure on the travel is on road or time, with the levers adjusted and the machine working. Instead of going to the past, the trip was route to the future, to meet unimaginable landscapes, impressive beings, and also with the death of the planet. Chapter 15. Coming home. Faden and the machine, the time traveler finally came back home. Weak and sick, he got off shaken to the machine to meet his old office and home with Mrs. Watcher, his cook, and his delicious cook. Back home, a group of doctors, psychologists, journalists, writers, and others came to hear the story. For the majority of them, that seemed a colorful lie told by a complete madman. One of them were deeply touched by the story, and the night after the conference couldn't sleep thinking about the time traveler, his machine, and story. So he decided to return the next day. When he arrived at the laboratory, the time traveler was not there, and like a child doing an innocent mischief, he entered the time machine, feeling in it his powerful energy. When he got out to the laboratory, he met with the traveler in the smoking room. He saw him with a camera and other things preparing himself to his next travel through the time. The curious man accepted the traveler's invitation to have a lunch at his house while he'll return with photographs and some evidence for him. 3 years later, he is still waiting for the time traveler back. Will he have to wait him whole life?